Hello and welcome to Mr. Thompson's Math Tutorials. Today what we're going to be talking about is making box and whisker graphs. So we're still looking at that sulfur emission data from 1950 and 2000 in East Asia, and I'm hoping to make a box and whisker graph out of the data that we collected. So in order to do a box and whisker graph, basically you need to know 5 things, okay? So they're called box and whiskers because they have a box. Okay, and that box has 3 lines. It has this line right here, which is going to be our quartile 1. It has this line right here, which is going to be our quartile 3, and it's got this, which is our median. Okay, so that's the box. And then out from the box, we have a couple of whiskers. And the whiskers are our maximum value, so our max and our min. So in a sense, what we have here are 5 vertical lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertical lines, and then 4 horizontal lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4 horizontal lines. Okay, and that's what we're going to be creating, is we need to start by thinking to ourselves, I need 5 horizontal lines. Now 3 of the 5 things I need are right here. Okay, this is my median, this is my first quartile, my third quartile, and then the other 2 are my min and my max. Now on this particular set of data, my min is 0.025, so almost 0, and my max is 450. And you can kind of see that these two are pretty outliery. In fact, I'd almost say that these 3 pieces of data are quite outliers of the data. So we can deal with that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit with this, and I'll show you how that works in a second. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start by I'm going to number my number line. Now I'm going to make this go up by, let me think here. I think I'm going to make it go up by tens, and I'm going to do a little cheating at the end there just to um, help me with my outliers. Okay, so I'm going to consider these 2 as outliers, and I'll show you how I'm going to deal with those in a second. Okay, so I'm going to say that this is 10, and then this would be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to make a kind of a squiggle on my line here. And I'm going to just start numbering at 400. So 400, 410, 420, 430, 440, 450. Okay, I'm going to show you how I deal with those in a second. Now, once again, this is 5 vertical lines and then 4 horizontal lines. Okay, now let's start with our min. So our min in this case is 0.025, so that is essentially at 0. Okay, so that's my first vertical line. Now my max here, I'm going to consider this an outlier and this one an outlier. So I'm going to actually put my max here at 480. So I'm going to put it right here at 480. And then I'm going to show that these are outliers by calling them a dot. So this dot represents my 450, and this dot here represents my 407, because those are some outliers there. Okay, and now I'm going to continue on with this. So I'm going to put my median in. So I'll switch to a different color here. So I'll put the median in red, and that is basically 7. So I'm going to put it right there. And then I have my first quartile, which I'll show as green, is essentially right up here next. And I'm not doing this quite right, but let me see if I can quickly try to erase that without damaging much. This is a little bit hard to do on the smartboard. Okay, let me try that again. This is This is 20 right here. Okay, so I want it actually pretty close to my minimum. Okay, and then my third quartile is going to be this 32, so that's going to be right here, essentially right there. Okay, now this is connected by 4 horizontal lines. So my horizontal lines are going to be between the first quartile in green and the third quartile in blue, and between the green and the blue again on the top and bottom. And then I should have a connection between my first quartile and my minimum, and then my third quartile and my maximum. Okay, and this is my box and whisker plot. And sorry, I should do this with a ruler, and all these things should be beautifully connected, and I haven't done that, but I would expect you to do that. And this tells us quite a bit. You can see that most of our data is clustered below the minimum. It's really clustered below this, sorry, not below the minimum, but near the median. Uh, and then, 3/4 of our data are down here. And then the last quarter is quite spread out. So it's telling you that this has quite a large spread with a couple of outliers. There's an outlier there, there's an outlier there. And that data is very spread in the third quartile. But in the first quartile, it's quite squished together, and the second quartile quite squished together. And even in the third quartile, these values are within, quite a small range compared to this. And remember, this goes out to 450, so it would be even longer if I didn't have my squiggle there to show it being longer. Well, thank you for watching.